Hey, what's going on YouTube? Obviously, it's Tuesday and Facebook is working, and so we're in the game. And I've been playing some of the new stuff for the week, which has been exciting to do. Getting kind of caught up, and one of the things that I had a little bit of trouble with doing with like a budgety team was this one, the Holy Beast of Yevon. I did it with a really strong team in one turn. It didn't matter, but I wanted to try and get all the rewards done in one run without using units like Esther, Kaito, Sylvie, stuff like that. And so I've kind of spent a little time on it and working out the gear and the rotation, and I've got it done 2 turns with this team. So it's only 3 units. Granted, high EX levels on most of them, you know, so it's not like super budget, but Elena and Cacteria are really old. And Roberta is really popular, so a lot of people pulled for Roberta because she's a Clash of Wills unit, and she's really good. It does not have to be your Roberta, but unless she's geared for this fight, it's going to be pretty difficult. So we're going to take a quick look at this. This is a aquatic Reaper enemy, weak to water, and has resistance to everything else really high. You can break the boss if you want to, and we're definitely going to. And you've got a mission to beat it in 2 turns with a party of 4. So you could take these 3 and do this. You could add in another capper, another chainer, to fill out that 4th party slot, but we're going to do it with these 3, and then I'll show you the gear. Here we go. In this setup, just so that you know, Roberta in the shift form is set up as a passive provoker. And so she's going to passive provoke, and it does not really matter with this rotation of how we're going to do this, but she is passive provoking. We're going to start with Cacteria. Cacteria is going to triple, and she's going to do the Sacred Oasis for a water imbue and amplify and stuff. And then she's also going to do armor breaking needles for a big defense break and mental breaking needles for a big spirit break. That's basically just to let Elena do her thing. There we go. Roberta is going to go ahead and triple and is going to do aquatic killer because the boss is an aquatic. She's going to use Emissary of Demise, which is going to increase the modifier of all of our physical attacks, and then support from the skies. She would use Dragoons or the Spear in Peril, but because she's not wearing a spear, we're not doing that. So we're going to use support from the skies instead. That's why we don't need to worry about provoke and evade, because we have Mirage, so it doesn't really matter, but she is geared for that. Elena is going to triple, and she's going to use Celestial Brilliance for a sword in peril. Everybody's wearing swords, so that's very helpful. And then she's going to use Stella Marie for a water in peril, and Gemini Blade to increase the modifier of some of her skills. Does a little bit of damage too, just a little tiny bit. So there's 1 attack and 1 stone gaze. Roberta's immune and she's evading and provoking, so we're all fine, does not matter. We're ready to go. We're going to downshift here and we're going to triple cast Mystic Breath, right? Elena is going to do Star Supernova and 2 Gemini Blades. And Cacteria is going to shift. And Cacteria is going to triple and cast Oasis's Retribution. Now, I happen to be playing on my phone right now, so chaining's always a little goofy. I'm playing on my phone because the emulator version that I run can't get into the game yet because it has not been fully updated. That's okay. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to send Roberta first, and then Cacteria and Elena. And we should do enough damage to take this out here on turn 2. Here we go. Perfect. So it worked just fine. So we'll take a look at the gear next. See how much damage we did. 4.4 is the highest that I've done with this team so far. So that's exciting. Let's take a quick look at the damage breakdown and the gear, and then we'll get this thing going here. So obviously you can see Elena carried it. Roberta does do a fair amount of damage. Cacteria does too, but neither of them even do anywhere close to Elena. Elena is definitely carrying this, which is why I say it doesn't have to be perfectly geared Roberta. It could be a friend Roberta. It could be whatever. It just wants to be reasonably geared, pretty strong. Same with Cacteria, but we'll take a look at their gear and you'll see what I mean. Okay, There we go. And again, if you don't have all of their gear to do this perfectly, add a 4th unit. Add a 5th unit and do it in 2 turns, and then come back and do it with 4 units as slow as you want. You do it however you want. I have done this with, you could add another bolting strike chainer that's non-elemental, so you could add like really anybody. Runda if you really wanted to for chaining. I also added Sky at one point and just had her using her shifted LB to just like kind of cap the chain, and that went really well. 2 turns was able to do it. However you want to go. But here's the gear. Here's the shift form where she starts. Again, I geared her for passive provoke and evasion. She does not need it with the setup that we had. None of this really matters. She doesn't do anything in this turn. And this is just from a previous run where I was having to use her as a jumper. Here's her base form. She's got a 2-handed sword, a lot of Aquan killer and Reaper killer, as much as we could cram in. And yeah, just like that. Perfect. Here's her vision card. She's got that good vision card. And as you can see, 300 Aqua, 300 Reaper, 400% true double hand. And she, did not do anywhere close to as much damage as Elena did. So all that good stuff. And she still didn't even break a billion damage. Here is Cacteria, not even really equipped in the base form. Well, kind of she's just doing a couple breaks. It's like not that important, this is not important either. I honestly, I hit automatic and it stuck this on here. She's not contributing to the damage. You saw it. But here you go. So she's geared for double swords and magic, Reaper killer, a little bit of plant, or a little bit of Aqua killer. Not even capped at all. We're at 200 and 225. She's just there to support chain and apply some buffs. The real good is right here. So we've got high magic, high attack, relatively balanced. We've got as much killers as we could fit. So she's got 195 aquatic and 120 Reaper, but still, even with that, still carried the damage. I mean, you saw it. She is kind of hard to gear for some of her stuff, and for killers that she's not proficient in automatically, she's very difficult to gear. I've got her wearing this Faravia card just for the flat attack and magic, and she's of course got her hidden power intrinsic, which is super good. And there you go, you saw how we carried it. So that's a way you could do this in 2 turns without using Esther, Chizuru, Kaito, whatever, and get this taken care of. So hopefully that's helpful. And if you like that, let me know. If you have trouble with it, let me know. I'm happy to try and answer questions. But really, I think it's pretty easy. Honestly, you could do this with stronger units, but if you don't have them, here's a way you could do it without it. You could bring a friend. You could bring a friend Cacteria for all that really matters, and then bring another one of your own units for a 4th unit if you wanted to. So lots of ways you could kind of work this out. But there it is. So there's 2 turns without extremely broken, busted units. Hope that helps. See you in the next video.